Hello, welcome to this video. It's about the Eachine Wizard x220. Just can you upgrade it to a much better radio gate and why, and just a really quick video of how to connect the receiver and just the basics of how to get flying, especially without bothering with beta flight. I started off with this JJRC Aircus thing, and I put FPV on it, little FPV camera, really cheap, 1S cell USB charge, like with your phone, lasts for ages, goggles, yeah, and then you're off you go. Take this thing out of GPS mode and just almost like a little freestyle but low powered. Add stuff to it, you'll need plenty of power on to keep it up. So yeah, back to this. I suppose you could call it lockdown tinker time. Bit of coffee. Reason for it is if you don't use beta flight and you worry about all these things that can go wrong and stuff like that. Well, I've learnt a lot. You know, I've been through props, changed them. Using this, it's been fine. Line of sight, a little bit of distance on FPV, and you're all right. But if you get like too high or a little bit too far away, this thing just goes like into fail-safe mode, and you'll see it flash up in screen and it'll drop. A lot of people, I don't know, I've worked out how to control everything I need from this, setting this up so it stays up in the air and don't go zero throttle and stuff like that, and you can arm it and whatever else, but in a slightly different way, without being on the internet using that beta flight. So really what you need to do on this, if you change your rates down to like 50% half, you need to switch on all your switches, go into settings and put it on. Excuse my grubby pause, I'm an engineer, trust me. You need to, if you change the rates on this and you go into left stick arm, which I don't mind because it's more complicated, there's more process to it rather than just switching it on and it's armed and then hit throttle or whatever, it's up, you know, things go wrong. So I like the more complicated way of doing it without bothering to go into beta flight and setting it up with that. So if you change your rates to like half, you need to mount it on a switch, go through settings, push buttons, don't be scared, it will go onto a switch. It's all in this anyhow, and it just halves everything, but then it won't arm itself because it don't get full yaw. So you've got to make sure when you're going to arm it, you've got it in 100, you know, no limitations, no tuning it down or whatever. You'll see it, and here you can change it. It's called dual rates. It won't arm. Also, when I first started flying this, I crashed it a lot, and that were in like the self-level mode. I get it, the acro stuff, and I call it stuff. This comes out of box in a couple of modes, I think, just on this rocker switch. All the way back here, you keep it there, and it'll kind of like stay level, but the wind will still catch it and it'll move around and things like that. So you need to be on the stick slightly. Just pointing at keeping it level. When you're on goggles, don't make a difference, you just go for it. But yeah, so I had it on like 10% throttle, so if you come down on the stick when you're doing like a little yaw turn or something, it'll want to drop right quick. So you've got to learn how to keep on throttle. So I had mine up to about 15% at one point, so it just came down slowly. But then if you go into settings on these, there's throttle cut. I know it's called throttle cut in this one, I'm sure it is. So mount that on the switch, and again you don't have to bother with beta flight because you can do it inside this settings on this. Mount it onto like this switch here. So to arm this thing with the old receiver, which I'll get into it, I had full rates on and throttle hold at 0, and then hit arm, yeah, full rates again, or back to half rates, depends how you want to put that in that position, and then before it disarms, you flick that, starts revving up, and then hit throttle when you're up and you're off, and then obviously it stops it, fail safe in if it would do that if you hit 0 throttle and it's coming down, and yeah, it can, I don't know if it can disarm or whatever, but I had the problem where it goes so far away it's struggling. So this video from a complete novice amateur, as you can see in my videos that I've posted, is I need to put a better radio gear on so I've got a bit more range. So after searching for God knows how long, I remember Radiolink from the days, really early days, from when you used to get these old RC receivers for your RC cars. You know, ACOMs, Futaba, Radiolink and stuff like that. So shocked about and realised this is on SBUS, which is just digital signal. It's like some ones or the old-fashioned Morse code, but digitalised. I don't know. And please don't. Well, you can shout. Yeah, you're going to leave your comments and stuff like that. There must be people out there saying, right, stop waffling, you're carrying on. But there you go. So yeah, I just want to upgrade it and stuff like that. So some of the videos people just don't show you this in close detail. So you get this connector here, which comes with this. It's like 1S, 2S, if I'm even reading it right. So you can set this up. But if you obviously you're going to read the instructions, which are down here, which come with it. It mentions there you've got to put it in channel 3, and you can see the wiring configuration, which I'm going to clearly show you. Keep on it for a little bit because I did find this difficult to find on YouTube. Excuse me, monkey paws again. It says you've got to put it on channel 3 to bind it. Binding it, there's loads of videos on how to bind these things. Push and hold the button, but you can double click it to make sure it goes into like a blue colour for its SBUS. And then connecting it to this was the original receiver I was talking about it, and I've had people, yeah, we can do better and I want to do better. The little button to bind button, when it's wrapped up in this plastic stuff, it's almost pushing it. You know, it's not far off. So I've looked at some people removing that and say it helps and stuff like that, but I don't know. So this is what I got. Obviously came with both. Came with this to set up, and I think it does a couple of other things in the cable. But then I'm thinking to myself, I recognise these parts. So yeah, go back in the old kitty from the 90s, from the old RC days. I've got a few of these old receivers like that. But the plug's the same. So, and the plug in there like that. And that is the original wires from the 90s. Okay. But then if you look on the receiver, not receiver, that's receiver in it. Come on, brain, function. Onto flight board and bits and bats here. So these wires, there's the same, positive, negative. And then your feed wire, digital feed wire. Goes in there. I had to put this on channel 3 to bind it, and then what you'll notice is if you put this in the end one here with a white up, you can see the colour, and then go to bind, then the quad will recognise it, and it'll and what you'll notice is when you move this stick here, the light panel on the back of the quad will be you know, doing its left, right, forward, back and stuff like that. So, well, bank left, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's my take on it. So, and here's the thing, you might go through this process here, I don't know, of a different radio system. And what I learnt by just fine-tuning this, so you can switch off when you come to land, you can, rather than the blades going round, as soon as you get close down to grass, and you're just hovering above it and you're happy, kill that, it puts the rotors to 0, and then it disarms. And then it's safe, you can go up to it, pick it up, stuff like that. And again, that's without messing around with beta flight and stuff. So you go through the settings, and what I realised is when you go, once you've bothered, so you see motor cut? Okay. So what you see is once you've gone through this and you've done your reversing of the controls and stuff like that, because you've learnt a little bit with this, you still can't get it to left stick, right arm, if you know what I mean. It just won't do it. So what you do is the way I managed to get it figured out, and you'll have to excuse me because I am an amateur. When you do buy one of these, you go into model select and set it for quadcopter and stuff like that. But the interesting thing, well, the one that after setting up some of the switches, just from this with turning down your, you know, how much of the stick you're giving it. You know, you just down tune it a little bit in dual rates, and you mount that on a switch as well, so full or half. It does help. And in stabilized mode, which I kind of like that. It might be a bit boring to people, but I have tried some macro mode. Don't mind it. It's interesting, as I'll say. But I kind of like just zooming around and being able to level out quite easily. So yeah, you can try, you know, reverse once you know you've got your reverse and stuff like that set up and stuff, and you put your model point in. You need to go to, well, I found it in what's called a mock-up. So into this, and then you get this sort of stuff. First of all, you need to come down here and put it on a switch, mount it on switch here. Yeah, and you can see it actually there when it says mix at the top. You can change that and just do this. But the interesting thing is the throttle at 5%. So I put the rate at -5%, put it on switch here, down for active, and then when I do that, it seems to put this at 0 throttle. So obviously that's when it's safe and it will arm. So then when I go like this, it works. And it arms itself. In fact, I'll try and give you a little demonstration. Sorry, I'm just doing this on a camera. Taking your time. Yeah, cool. Right, so come out of this. Get back there. Back in there. Rightio. So you can see the lights there. Obviously, when you put your input in, obviously you need to keep this at this end channel here, this last channel. Don't know why. It won't do this on other channels. And then you've got this here. So when I go left stick to arm, it arms. Push switch here, and it'll idle. Yeah. And then when you got throttle cut and switch here, switch it off when you land or whatever. Disarms. No. And then it's good to go again. I prefer it like that rather than having it just on full arm on one switch. I know your throttle's back when it does it and stuff, but hey, yeah, okay. Happy. So you have your blades off, obviously, when you're doing stuff like this. And people always rant on FPV cable on for transmitting. And just a second. Full battery, because I don't like that being on. When I was first messing around with this, and it did take me a while to get this motor cut set up on transmitter, you can easily kill a battery because this thing will bleep at you. And you know, obviously it's got the battery low warning, and that's what it'll be. I took this right down to 0%, and then when I put it on my balancer, I had 0 in it, voltage too low, won't take a charge, and I thought, I've done this before actually, I won't advise it, but you just change your settings to PB, and it's like 5-6 cells, something like that, but you need to be up to like 12 volts. Put it on 0.1 amps on PB, just on this, obviously, don't bother with balance cable. Watch the voltage on the screen go up to, I think when it just gets over just about 11 volts, you can shut that off. Connect this up and go back to LiPo, and then it might take a charge and you just might recover your LiPo batteries, but I'm not advising that, but it works for me. Camera, if you have one, if you're just getting novice to this and you have these camera mounts that come with it, the point up to the sky, and you can't get your I forget the resolution, not the resolution, you know, it goes dark and things, amateur stuff. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So obviously I put it on that spinny one where it comes level. And I like it where you can just see tip at blades, and when you watch the videos back, it does feel like then you're in some sort of craft doing these manoeuvres right, rather than just not seeing blades. It's more interesting for me. Right, thank you, bye. Hope that was okay. Connecting this receiver using this radio gear, updating the wizard so I can fly it according to the instructions. I don't know if it's either 3 or 4 kilometers away. I doubt I'm ever going to do that, but I have had issues with this disarming while it's in the sky, high and a fair distance away, and then it has fallen from great heights. Managed to survive, but there you go. Upgraded this camera, because this camera is the original one that comes with, well, I found it not to be right good. You can spin the end, it's got that locky thing on it to get it in focus, but on the original one, but I just bought a little better one now. I must have soldered a million wires in my lifetime. So yeah, I don't know if you soldered before, but you connect them to them, the original one, little connector on the end of that. I don't worry about doing stuff like this, because I could put it back together pretty sharply with soldering and heat shrinking and whatnot. Okay, thank you, bye.